that the cinnamon? Not too bright, right? Yeah. Hold put that up. No, and don't you stick your head in there either. That's cinnamon. That sweet chocolate will kill you. Some washcloths, bro. Yeah, man. Wipe your face. Charcoal will do you good, don't it? No treats. Not right now. Yeah, you. I say no treats, and that's what you give me to look for now. Doesn't like to mix up well in here. What's cracking? What's cracking? Oh, that's just wrong. Oh. That's my Perrier and Bertolli. Stop licking the lid of that. You wouldn't like it. Be careful, don't knock the tripod over. You're being crazy now. What you doing, man? It's mixed in now. It's got a bite to it. You can't eat. Oh, that sucks. It's good, but it sucks. I'm just not used to that kind of bitter. Look. I'm gonna let you taste some of it. All right, because you want to be a rockhead. I'm gonna take some of this. Ready? What you running for? Another Bertolli would have really had you run. Want to taste it? It's mineral water, and it's got lime in it. Real seltzer. Come on, you looking at what? Just stick your tongue out. It's minerals, man. Look at your bones, the joints. Here. There you go. You're licking your lips. It's minerals. Too much, they'll give you a headache. Too many minerals is not good. Now you got me opening that. Now I got to drink it. I wasn't ready to drink that. Not until Monday. Yeah. Okay. I didn't see you. You are too much, dude. You going back downstairs? I'm not going back downstairs. I'm not going back downstairs. There you bye. Sad thing, I'm not a nosy person. I know I made a joke one time before on a video, maybe 10 or 15 ago, about looking out like an old lady, right? He did that to the blind, y'all, like 4 or 5 days ago. Don't even ask. He jumps up. He can jump now, you know, and I don't know what he was jumping for, but he told. I got another one to put it there, but yeah. Anywho, I pulled it up my clothes. I got another wash going, right? Pulled it up, you know, all my towels and stuff like that. And so I said, let me put them up, get this going. I come up here before I start, and I was like, I'm gonna start. I hear somebody else, this female saying to a guy, to somebody, right? I didn't see him at first. I don't wanna go. I'm not going. Something like that. And he's talking very low. They do that here, so you can't hear him. But I don't want to go back with you. Now, there have been a number of cases when I've come up out of here, and people here don't tolerate it. They watch everything, but mostly everybody works. There's a handful of us here who are ex-military, a couple of retired police officers, and we just kind of stay to ourselves. We know each other, but, you know, and we watch everybody's other car, this, that, and other, you know. Some of the guys are going, I hope somebody comes up in here when I'm little Mexican. They say it, come here looking for the catalytic converter. They're going to shoot them from the window. They're that serious. They're gonna blow their brains out. I'm serious. All the cars here, you can either see the lights blinking in them, you can see cameras in everybody's windows. I mean, you see my camera right there. I turn it kind of in facing where the kids are at, which I can click on there, put it up on the small screen, and I can look at the kids playing, make sure everything is all right. Because by the airport in a certain area that's monitored, there's a lot of pedophiles. They're out, you know, they're monitored. Anywho, we don't play the meth head thing around here. Now you got a few of them in town. They're real discreet because they know what kind of place this is. I mean, even the witch call here on Page don't even want a marijuana place here. I mean, they're straight up, what do you want to say, religious zealots or whatever. They're very conservative. It's just the way it is. But last couple of weeks, I've seen one or two females, and I know they're meth heads. You could tell, because I've seen them at the bowl. I've seen them around. I hear what people say. I live here. And I remember stopping. I said to one, what are you doing over here? Ain't you on the res? Look, I said, let me do you a big favor. Maybe you don't know this. But here, you're going to get yourself hurt or in some deep trouble, especially with these Ecuadorian women and some of the people here and the Chinese families and the Nigerian and the Jamaicans. Besides the Pale-skins, the ex-police officers, you're coming here, and there's probably a few people that moved here who's got a little habit, or they like you come and visit or whatever. Do yourself a favor. I'm giving you some advice. This is the second one that I saw. This last week, Tuesday, I think it was. And I says, don't come here. I says, do not. I'm not telling you where to go, but I'm making a statement. I know what you're about. Now, if you're coming to see family, I know all the Navajos that live over here. All of them. Ain't but a handful. And my boy over here, I don't know what's going on over there, but the apartment's kind of empty, and they don't play it. And the Mormons, they just keep pulling up now. I always tell them, if you see this one or this one. Anyway, so I looked, and it was neither one of them, but it was somebody that don't live here. And I was trying to see where she was coming from because the guy came and got her, put her in the car and took her away. Like, Pelskin, he knew, This is what I'm saying. Y'all know, everybody's got somebody in the family that did drugs or whatever. You know that it's a sad thing. As far as with me, it's a sad thing. I mean, it's easy to go, you bum, you crackhead, you dope fiend. And I can't do that because it's a system. It's a creation that is not who the people are. Remember, I always stated, we are not the name, just our names. We are much more than the name. They want you to believe you're your name. You've seen in those shows, what's my name? What's my name? to engrave that, to indoctrinate, to further, make you capitulate to their way, to keep you a slave, not looking outside of yourself. All right. So you have to, come up out of that, I love this one statement by Wim Hof. He says, go into the cold, breathe. That's chanting in the mantra. When you feel down, right, and you got to keep moving, do it 30 times. I don't care if you have to do it 5 or 6 times. Oxygenate your blood, and you're wide awake. If you feel like you're falling off, make it a cycle. Do it again and again. Be repetitive. Have a reprobate mind for the betterment. There are memes out there with the Sith Lord expressing, I must do away with the Jedi, as if that's the bad thing. Do you see what I'm saying? Like the indifference. So remember this. There's a lot of people in this world that believe they're good and they're doing the right thing, and they're doing very wicked and vile and evil things. Indoctrination is a hell of a drug, a real one. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into some reading. I just wanted to share that, a lot of y'all know I used to sit down in Harlem. I used to, go, when Planet Fitness was a building, I used to go to Iron Gym, and I used to look at Polite and all them talking that goofy stuff when I was living in Brooklyn. And I go to Harlem, and I go to Apollo, and because I was further in my acting classes when I was pre-med, and I didn't go all the way through the pre-med. It was just too much garbage, and it's really indoctrination. But anyway, I used to go over there and sweep up and chat with some of the cats over there and everything, the comedians coming in, setting up. When Denzel Washington was doing an off-Broadway, because I like going to the one-man shows off-Broadway. Anyway, that's Manhattan before coming to, making my trip to Harlem. I used to do all that stuff. Broadway, going to Harlem, go to the gym, go into a Black Panther meeting, come out, listen to Polite and Sal when I think he was first getting started. And then I would go and sit with the lady who wrote the original script, which was stolen by 2 Zionist Fs. And that's when I was going to White Castle's getting my chicken sandwiches. I would always get 12 chicken sandwiches, no fries. Only time I eat French fries is if I make them, air fry. I don't like that fryer and all that other stuff. But I used to always ask her, and she would be out there selling her book on the corner. This is when she was just starting to fight the battle, because she knew that it was stolen from her. And I always told people John Connors was Jesus Christ. The robot and Neo, Sarah Connor birthed Neo into the world to fight the machines. Nobody believed me when I was telling them that. They were like, nah, that's not what Matrix, and that's not what Terminator said. I said, well, you talk to her. Now people are been paying attention, going, oh, okay, Red, all right. So you really said with her, like, who am I so? Am I so beneath you that I don't, my every move every day, huh? Like, y'all see me up here comfortable on my bed. My toe is feeling a lot better, yet I know I need to keep it elevated, and I'm comfortable. I'm at home. It's like anybody with me knows that I'm at home. I mean, you ladies might walk in right now and see all my guns and bags and every stuff instead of being locked up, right? Because I like working on them and changing stuff out and cleaning and looking at and fixing scopes and, so they're there. And then I got a couple pair of jeans and sweatsuits stacked up clean, neat, with some ball caps on it. It's a man cave. You know what I'm saying? But it's neat. Cat food right there, cat food downstairs. I don't know more better about no cats. It's the first time that I ever had a cat on my own. I've lived with somebody who had cats, but, and they love me more than that person. So, these are the little things, what I'm saying, that shouldn't matter. The little things lead to big things. Anybody that jumps into the deep end of the water not knowing how to swim, I mean, but I like to introduce myself to people who are doing things, who are about something. Like when I travel in the military, I said, let me travel the world a few times on my own. And it's the most, especially when you know who you are, it's a difference. Now, if you run a country talking about you African American, then people are going to be like, yeah, spend that fiat. Oh, you're going to have a good time. Come on over to Dubai with them Sephardics. Like, oh, yeah, spend. Gone. People don't know this. And they're looking, and the new generation are looking at you going, a creation of something other. So anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there. Wim Hof is one. I always like taking cold showers, so I knew what it did for me. At least putting cold water on my face and my head, and after taking a warm shower, I always let the cold water run over me for like 3 or 4 minutes. I always did that. Now it's like I got to get into like 58, 60 degree water, and that's kind of cold. 71 degrees water is, well, 68 degrees water is cool. So I like to get in about 58, 60 degree, which is not the ice cold. It's like right before you get to warm, and so it's cool. I like to get in that and then turn it cold, and I'll shower, with the little beads and all the stuff I got for like 15 minutes, like letting the water just hit me, letting the pores close up and breathing, and then turn it all the way super cold. Then I'll lather up. Now by then my body's become warm, though I can still, when I move around, the cold hit my back. Ooh, I do the dance, hit my chest, and my thing go, you know what I mean? And I breathe. It's a way for me to practice the breathing, to make it enjoyable. Just like going down a wild week in the wintertime. I didn't do it. I didn't take the tripod out like I've done before and set it up, because sometimes the wind down there can be a little crazy, and because of the water levels. But I like going out there and walking out into that water, which is colder than California over there at 58. It's like much colder. And I walk out there and sit out there for 3 to 5 minutes. Just walk out to where it's about waist high, and then go down and sit. My head under the water, and then walk up a little bit to where I can sit find a rock or something where I can sit down about this high, as long as I can take it. And I mean, it's cold, and let my mind go somewhere else, and allow my heart to stand up. Now, what it does for the body is, you can't measure it. And sometimes, like, I haven't been out there for a little bit. I'm kind of like peeved at myself. Guy who's working here flies the big 60-pound drone over where they're capping it off, the old electric coal fire plant. He's originally from Alabama. He's, you can see he's mixed a little bit. And me and him had a long conversation. And so we started kicking, man. He's a real one. I remember seeing him at the range, picking up some ammo. And so he's working over there, but he flies a 60-pound drone. 60-pound drone is pretty big, doing all the surveying of it, all the work, you know what I'm saying, to keep as and he eats paleo. And I told him, no, I'm not really big on meat. I did it for 30 days to show some people something. I started having sweats, this, another. But what I mentioned to him was, when I was doing that, I was also eating a lot of fruit. So I was spiking my insulin. So the sweats wasn't coming from the meat I was eating to show people. It was coming from the sugars and the fact that I was very active, because I was running at that time. Y'all know I was going out running and stuff. But only way I fixed it was by taking a teaspoon of cinnamon, as you saw me just put in my tea, and going into the shower in cold water. Just getting in there with my drawers on, some shorts, and just plopping down and cracking a bag of ice right in there with me. And that was the only way to mediate my blood pressure, knowing there were other ways to do it. But because of the sugar spike in insulin, because I'm so energetic, I wasn't thinking about it. And he was like, yeah, he says, every once in a while he has an orange or something, depending on the weather. He didn't get the jab, and his brother, and he says, but we stay away from the sugar. And he's much younger than me. And the thing is, I was like, and it made so much sense. So I researched it. And the reality is, there's certain fruits and stuff, even though they're not granulated bad sugar, until you get your hormones right. Because all these chemicals and all this sugar and these nitrates and nitrites and all the stuff they're putting in the food and the synthetics and all that stuff, and the BPA, the BPs, all the plastic, messes your hormones up. So your hormones can't regulate your body to function right. So yeah, it affected me too. I told you, it's the same skin suit like anybody else. The thing is, how you control it, and what do you do? I mean, you get the breathing down, but then there's another level, and then there's other levels. So I'm good to go. You know what I mean? And the thing is, the cold. I know I'll talk to a few of you, and I've said, just take a cold shower, and I know you haven't. Oh, it's so cold. Stop being simps. Get in the friggin' cold water and deal with the friggin' cold water. Let it hit your head. It's the best thing for your brain. And trust me. And one more thing I'm gonna add before I get into original history of ancient America. For those of you, are y'all aware that if you have somebody with Alzheimer's, are you aware that other than big pharma medicine, they don't control shit? They only control what y'all allow them to control. Go ahead and get some star anise. Go ahead and get some cloves powder. You know what I'm saying? Get some cinnamon, get some turmeric, big time. All right? Get some cayenne pepper, all organic if you get natural, non-GMO crap. You know what I'm saying? Now, when you get the turmeric, make sure you use 1 part black powder, black pepper powder to the 9 parts of turmeric, because that's the only way your body's going to absorb the turmeric, which is the cumin. All right, and that will help. And if I didn't knew that, my great grandmother Bettina Lee, she'd have been drinking turmeric tea or shots every damn day. Well, not can't do it every day, but at least small ones, a shot every other day. She would have been fine to help. And also, I'd have been juicing her some parsley and some cilantro to remove the heavy metals from the aluminium that she started using very heavy in her cooking in her old age. She would always wrap aluminum around all her food she put in the oven. I used to come back and be like, why don't you just put it in the Pyrex I bought you? It just tastes better like it's barbecue. I'm like, no. All right? Spices. Spices have flavonoids. Those things are very important to how your body functions. Every day I'm going to give you some tea. You could take it or you could throw it away. You dig what I'm saying? I appreciate y'all. We're going to get into this reading. I ain't going to go too crazy with the reading. I got to still go back out because I didn't go to the post office. I started getting phone calls and I talked. Somebody came and visited and washing clothes. And I heard somebody blah, blah, blah. And you know me, after eating, I was like there for about 15, 20. Besides the phone calls. Anyway, let's go ahead. And this is George Jones, An Original History of Ancient America. This feels so comfortable. Y'all just don't know, man. I feel like a king up in this one. So we already cleared all that stuff. So let's go ahead and start back from Original History of Ancient America, book the first, chapter 1. Actually, we did all this right here. Now, the courteous reader in tracing the fate of Tecumseh. Tecumseh, Chief Tecumseh, right? Negro. I believe my brother Caramillo Aha just did a video not too long ago on Tecumseh. I'm gonna have to look into that. Somebody did. I watch a lot of guys. I subscribe to a lot of people doing things because I believe we all should support each other. Anyway, here we're over here. Okay. So I'm gonna reiterate on this part right here. Make sure as far as the lately recovered ruins, cities, and temples in Central America. Remember we read that? Listen, the lately recovered ruins. Now you gotta remember this is 18th. This guy, I want to make sure I say the right year. I don't want to be throwing out there anything made up. Published by Longman Brown Green and Longman's London, Harper and Brothers, New York, Alexander Dunker Berlin, and Frederick Klangskrieg. See, they all them fake Jews took over our print shops. 1843. Now the individual Long John is much older than that. And I'll find. I'm gonna get back into reading. I think it's in the back, if I remember right. But anyway, 1843 is decent enough, and we'll get into his time period. So anyway, let's go back over here. So suspicion has asserted that all the natives of the continent of Columbus might probably have been originally of Hebrew extraction. Just listen, all right? Just pay attention. I know some of y'all, but you ain't religious. Ain't got nothing to do with it. Well, it's got something to do with truth of history. They can only train and indoctrinate the next generation. But see, while the old history is still around, the stuff that people hid, and so a lot of them were dead and started republishing, these books were never meant to be out. Anyway, well, I'll take it from the very, this is page 2. I'll take it from here so we can get back down to that part so you'll remember. The lately recovered ruins, cities, and temples in Central America, and of which no ancient record is to be found. Why? Have shattered the chain of acknowledged history to atoms. And until that chain is again united by a firmly established theory, education, herself must pause, ere she can, with the wand of truth, point to her rising children the history of the world or its inhabitants. And pay attention. Suspicion has asserted that all the natives of the continent of Columbus might probably have been originally of Hebrew extraction. The assertion has been made in doubt and trembling. Because of what they planned. For writers have been confused by essential contracts in the religious customs of North and South America. There were no analogies between them, which circumstance should have compelled historians to pursue another path of inquiry, and so attain a conclusive truth. But they found a Gordian knot, which they could not unravel. And assuming the impatient weapon of Alexander, they destroyed it. The architecture, however, of the ruins of Copan, Palenque, Uxmal, and their time-honored associates has furnished a Rosetta Stone to aid the new translation of the hieroglyphical history of, in parentheses now, ancient America. Now, I want y'all to write these down if you can. I want you to write down Copan, C-O-P-A-N, look it up. Palenque, P-L-E-N-Q-U-E, Palenque, and Uxmal, and I believe one is silent, but I'm going to spell it out, U-X-M-A-L, okay? Look them up, all right? And the Rosetta Stone is a way to what? Not only understand something, to transliterate. Remember that. And I have Rosetta Stone on my laptops. Anyway, in ancient America. And if our theory is true, not only have the Israelites walked the land where the sun bestows his last smile, but another nation in which it states in parentheses, in which was retained the primitive language of the Diluvian world. Look up Diluvian. It's a lot of lies, but you can find some pieces there. It will take you on a roller coaster ride. Previously trod that soil as aborigines. And beyond all this, if our thread of our Aradne, A-R-I-A-D-N-E, all right? It jumps out at me, for real. Lead us faithfully, if not the Almighty Father who gave the thought will pardon its application. Yes, beyond all, listen to this, beyond all the bounding feelings leaping at events, at once classic and venerated, do we contemplate another branch of our theory. For if we do not write in error, and our perfect faith assures us that we do not, then the trembling hand which sought in doubt the Savior's wounds has been outstretched in sacred oratory even in those southern wilds. The bold yet conquered voice which uttered in hallowed and confirmed faith, my Lord and my God, has given forth its mission eloquence even in the Western Hemisphere, and there the sainted ashes of that apostle may yet repose. You do know what repose means, right? The preceding extract may be viewed as the exordium of an original history to follow, wherein, if we fail, it will be the boldness of the attempt, and not the deed confounds us. The boldness of attempts. That means if they fail at what they're doing right now, they have no problem with the deed. All right, but it says, and not the deed confound us, yet they are confounded. They're compelled to stay on the road they're on because they have subjugated themselves in theory to believe that they can actually win. It doesn't matter if there was 20-foot tall giants. It don't mean a damn thing. It don't mean if there's a Lucifer or Satan or whatever you want to call Beelzebub, Nimrod, or if there's a whole it don't matter. Just listen to me. I'm telling you. Taking as a basis for our illustration the rules of argument, we will first identify one race and then prove that the existence of another is not only apparent but absolute. We know that race was created by what Frenchmen in the 1600s anyway, 16 I believe, yeah. For the convenience of 1700s, for the no actually 18, 17, it was it 1780 something? I'll go back and read it. Anyway, for the convenience of the general reader, the word Mexican, until the true name is established, will be applied throughout the following pages to all Central and South America. It's not the name. For the word South may be confounded with that portion of the Republic of North America. The Republic of North America. The Republic of Tartary. So denominated, and especially with the American reader, the fundamental error with all writers upon the Aborigines of America is, because we're not no U.S. nothing, that they have viewed them as one people. And here we run around so freaking foolish. We can't accomplish anything. Oh, it will change. But a lot of y'all, because of your choices and because you deem not to circumvent and do the things that I ask of you, well, you already know. Oh well. Authors have therefore been confounded by the different customs and ceremonies of religion as practiced in the two great divisions of the continent. They weren't that divided. They have seen that the natives were, to a certain extent, in one part of the vast domain, idolaters, and not in the other. That the North was essentially Republican in every aspect of its political existence, while that of Mexican America was as essentially composed of kingdoms and empires, and governed by despotic monarchs, and that republics were interwoven with them. Of course we were. That each man in the North was a warrior and an equal, acknowledging no superior but their leader in time of battle, and should he fall in action, there was not a member of the tribe in which they politically lived, but could have taken his place and filled it with similar courage and ability. Are you paying attention? No one greater. Now you see the importance of why they had to create status and all that BS. Huh? You gotta pay attention, people. In Mexican America, they're using that term loosely here because it's not what it's called. That land is not called Mexico. I keep telling you, the Gulf of Mexico is named after the Choctaw, the Yamasee. If you don't believe me, the Yama Nation. See, when people say Yamasee, I get a little flustered because I'm like, yeah, they're kind of indoctrinated with that 20th century shit. But, excuse my French, stuff. But it's the Yama Nation of many tribes and clans. And tribes and clans ain't woo, feathers in the head and running around all that stupid. It's like a conglomerate, like you say CFOs, whatever. That's why I get tired of listening to certain people with their Google mastermanship. Anyway, in Mexican America, they were not equal, but from the emperor, they descended by degrees to the serf and slave. In that country, stone and stucco temples and palaces were and still continue to be found, erected with costly magnificence, and in which were jeweled idols, to which they bent the knee. Their rich dwellings were splendid mansions adorned with sculptured and beaten gold and graced with the works of art, and as a people enjoying all the refined elegancies of life. But in the north, their temple was the azure canopy of, and he put Jehovah. You know that's a damn lie, but you know this is a religious Masonic crap. Adorned, we're just gonna say they put one of them false religions because you know when Jehovah Witnesses came to be, right? Do any of y'all know? So you know that's based on the 1800s, people. Adorned with his myriads of golden stars, and when beneath that sublime dome, they beat the knee. It was to the Almighty God alone. Their palaces were the gorgeous vistas of the forest. The columns were the gigantic trees, each year increasing in their stat lines. Their shadowy and painted roofs were the far spreading branches and nature's tinted foliage. Their mansions were those of independent wanderers, even the simple tents of Israel. And as for jeweled idols and figures of beaten gold, they presented the diamonds of the human eye, radiant with intellectual beams and glancing from the living emblem of the first and priceless image placed in Eden's garden by the architect of the universe. Notwithstanding these essential opposites in character and policy, to which may be added that of I went to school in this medical term. Physiognomy. I can't get the damn word out, y'all. But physiognomy is something I can't get the word out. Anyway, writers have glanced at them as one. My apologies, y'all. I'm so relaxed, comfortable. I better not fall asleep. No, I really like reading this. Anyway, let me see. Physiognomy. It's not jit, it's physiognomy, if I remember right. Writers have glanced at them as one race, sprung from the same branch of the human family, and without defining which and when they could not reconcile such apparently unaccountable distinctions and diversities, they have thrown upon the shoulders of the Mexican the mantle of manly virtue belonging to the North, and upon this race they have thrust the idolatrous vices and the festering robes of luxury just claimed by the former people. And by this easy manner of disposing of a question, have seemingly satisfied themselves that by blending the crimes of both to the exclusion of the virtues of either, that they were all savages. And no matter from whence they came, thus have they formed their conclusions concerning 50 millions of human beings. 50 millions of human beings, although directly in opposition to evidence of fact, to deductions by relative reasoning, and to all Christian feeling, which alone should have rejected so cruel a decision founded as it is, not only on slight, but careless investigation. A significant identity of the northern native is now required in order to establish a national distinction between the aborigines of the two Americas. In all civilized countries, when the lex scripta fails to develop or protect the historical events and rights of a nation or of an individual, then the lex non-script is not only not rejected, but it is actually brought forward to establish and support the customs and privileges by gone day. This traditionary evidence handed down from sire to son, is received in proof of a foregone conclusion. It gives an insight into the times of which no written record is left for the investigation of arguous-eyed posterity. It carries us back to customs, civil, military, and religious, that otherwise might be lost to the archives of history. Admitting, therefore, this train of reasoning we bring to bear upon the present important subject, important in the highest degree. There you go with that Masonic crap. Anyway, for the time is now past when the West, everything he's explaining is explaining from the perception of his literacy, his training, his rearing. Anyway, important in the highest degree, for the time is now past when the Western Hemisphere is to be dated from the rediscovery by Columbus, which we know is a lie. His giant but over-applauded name, like the ruins of Palenque, is but the lettering of a volume to indicate in the library of the universe that such a work was written. The work itself, for example, the great continent, has yet to be read, and the historical authors identified. And yes, I've been looking for that book, having a hard time finding it. The Great Continent. Nor will the well-grounded supposition, that identified, nor will the well-grounded supposition, I want to make sure, that the Welsh prince Mada colonized in America 2 centuries before the Genoese, or that the Norwegian landed 3 centuries anterior to the Welsh, enable us to even unclasp the volume. In space, it states, to accomplish this, and its translation, an historic Iliad must be cast over a period of more than 2,000 annual changes of nature's revolving but faithful time glass. Wow, millennia. Granting then that when the lex scripta will not cover a subject, the lex non scripta must be investigated to establish a position in space. Again, the first then will not apply to the aborigines of the North, for it does not exist. The latter only, that means the beginning, or the unwritten history of their race must be had recourse to prove their originality and identity, traceable back to time immemorial from their present customs and traditions. We think that it will instantly be admitted that all, listen now no two-page thing here, we're not doing that all religious ceremonies are the strongest proofs of the characteristics of a people or race. They always call it religion because it's where they come from, not lifestyle. A people or race of which no written history exists, for there is something so incredibly sacred in the conscientious actions of man with the supreme God that none but the maniac atheist could doubt that those actions should be received as the living features of a nation, when seen to be recognized and acknowledged, with as much certainty of identity as when a mother gazes upon her fondly cherished child. The first and the oldest. The customs forming the analogy between the northern natives and the ancient Israelites will now be reviewed with as much brevity as the subject will permit in order to establish an essential point of the present theory. The visualization, the separation of the aborigines into two distinct people. The reader perhaps will meet us at the threshold of argument by the question, how can an Indian be of Israel? We will answer this and refute the misnomer before the analogies are investigated. The name Indian, as applied to the original inhabitants of either or both the Americas, Canada, the islands, and are adjacent to the Gulf of Mexico, which we know is not the actual name, he's using it because, as stated, okay, has no authority founded upon truth. Cool. The name was given in error and has been so continued from the time of the Genoese to the present day. My Mexican brother, I'm sorry to tell you, this is not Latin or Spanish America. Just helping you out. Throughout this work, no position will be advanced. That's not knocking y'all. Will be advanced that cannot be defeated. And I know a lot of y'all hate this Asian slave trade and the fact that a lot of Moors and a lot of certain pale skins were slaves or indentured. I can't do nothing about that. And they fought for their freedom. That's nothing. And there's still black nobility. And for you people that still buy into the black crap, that runs all of this. But that's something, and that's deep and dark. Anyway, to the present day, throughout this work, no position will be advanced that cannot be defended. The wrongful appellation originated with Columbus, and for proof of the assertion, the following is presented. The shadow of the earth upon the moon during an eclipse plainly testified that the planet upon which we live was round. Well, we know, we've already read Flatlanders. We've broken down the science of every theory that makes the earth round. Is nothing more than a theory they cannot prove, and they've done it over hundreds and hundreds of years, and 180 to 200 years up to the present where they hold on to it. And it's so, there's it's puzzles. Let's pay attention. And it's not we selecting what we want right and wrong. No, there's a reality. There's enough information to be able to decipher when Masons are writing something and they want to hearken on to the truth for antiquity. You gotta know. Frederick Douglass wouldn't have said, though I like the religion, he likes what Christianity states, but he hates the liar and the fact that Christianity is not of this land. No African would say that, but people are too stupid to read about the individuals. So they accept everything they're given. Our people have become more consumers of all literary BS instead of knowing their truth. Anyway, so let's get back. Plainly testified, I'm not going to read that. The travels of Marco Polo by land to the East Indies, about 1269, fictional, related that those lands stretched far towards the east, because as we know now, there was wars going on. conquest of the lands that started around the 1300s. So this is out of date. Related that those lands stretched far towards the east. About 2 centuries after this, it occurred to Columbus upon pursuing those travels, but more especially from having obtained intelligence from the final conquest of the Canary Islands in 1483 and information while resident in England, and in parentheses it states, which circumstances will be investigated hereafter, 1483. Anyway, that by a voyage towards the west, thus traveling as it were around the globe, not, he should meet the extremities of those lands. He already knew about these lands. That is facts. And he wasn't this Italian. He was a Moor. He was a Marano. He was as dark as damn midnight. That by a voyage towards the west, thus traveling as it were around the globe, he should meet the extremities of those lands, and as the discovery of a sea passage to the East Indies was the great object of navigation in the 15th century, Columbus made the bold attempt, founded upon previous knowledge of migration, and discovered the island of San Salvador and those adjacent, and thinking that he had reached the eastern extremity of the Indies according to his theory, he then named those isles the West Indies because they were discovered by sailing west. The discovery of the continent followed during that lying there anyway, because this was Asia Superior, so we're gonna leave that. We're gonna leave that be. They're gonna do that. The discovery of the continent followed during his third voyage, and believing all the land to be of the Indies, the inhabitants of the isles and of the mainland were as natural consequence called by Columbus under one general appellation. I should have turned those notifications off. Indians. Subsequent, because they weren't called over there where y'all calling on them idiots who are of Ethiopian descent, mixed and everything else. Gandhi and all them, you call them the Indian. Those are not. No, man, that's Hindustan. They done broke off into 2-3 different places by now. Pakistan and Afghanistan. Come on now. Damn Indians. Subsequent geographical discoveries have proved the great error of the Genoese, but the name of Indian was given at that time, and it has been continued, although at variance with the truth, and it has had a material effect in checking inquiry. Pay attention. Concerning the Aborigines, who having been called Indians, the name seemed at once to specify their origin, but it would have been equally as just if he had determined to sail for Britain, and an unforeseen gale having cast him upon the island of Sardinia, and then from believing that he had reached the intended object of his voyage, he should have called the latter inhabitants British. We therefore discard the name of Indian as applied to the natives of the Western continent. And in parentheses, it states it will be retained in the tragedy of Tecumseh for local purposes, and right of them as the Aborigines until, as we advance in history, they can be identified by a national name founded upon facts and conclusions. And then we'll get into chapter 2 tomorrow. And I figured this would really, really be interesting and a very good read, as to which it is. Oh, my food over. Excuse me. I can't let that lay on the ground like that. I'll be playing this thing like I'm crazy too. I closed the window because I know people be like, who's that jamming that flute? Original History. And Original History of Ancient America by George Jones. Now you remember I showed you, let me see if I can find it. Well, did you know that the Ten Commandments, the tablets, thought to be found here? A whole lot of stuff, man. I told you about King James. Nobody wanted to listen. But y'all want to hold on to the federal religion, this, that, and other, because of the rewrite of history, because the hands behind it. You dig what I'm saying? But hey, we still got to keep digging. Now, I'm not saying there wasn't a religious ideology going on, and we know that it was pagan and it was not virtuous. We know that Islam came from the Hebrew, and we know that Christian came from betwixt that, because Christianity is the newest religion. Not as far as all this other made up crap that comes since that. You know what I'm saying? Mormonism, Jehovah's Witness, and all that BS. But all that's roughly 20th century. All right. But Christianity and Islam goes back a few hundred years, back to around the 1600s. The reality, and further pursued in the late 16 and 1700s. Like I said, why would the Vatican have to lie about the years? This is not 2023. You can bleed it all in your heart because you just can't let go of what they've done, because you will not free yourself. I can't do nothing about that. I can just continue to read, and I've read more than enough. If you don't want to go back and look at the videos, that's your problem. You don't have to assist me with anything. I've reached my age. I know what little I know. And I continue to read. I've traveled the world so many times, and I wouldn't want to travel right now because there's too many younger people who are dumb as rocks. Not to curse the rocks, but I'm just saying, the rocks, if the rocks could talk and sing and cry, every knee would bow. Problem is, nobody can hear them because they can't even hear themselves. They don't even know their truths. Okay, so we're gonna come back and we're gonna read these in about. I gotta run out in about an hour and a half. I'm dead serious because I'm really Saturday. I got to keep you guys occupied. Other than going out and doing some more goofy stuff, maybe some did. And I'm not here to beat you up, but stop drinking. Alcohol is one of the worst things you could drink. And I'm talking about this crap they're selling right now, because who's in control of putting the ingredients in there? Who's in control of creating the ingredients? The ingredients. Are you aware that FDA approved sugar and all the other stuff being paid, knowing what it would do and harm people? So please, there's no reason to drink anything other than water, little lemon water, some tea with no caffeine. Let yourself rest. You know what I mean? Get you some Pellegrino or some damn Perrier, you know, have your about 4 ounces, get some minerals in there, and allow yourself to relax. You know what I'm saying? Take some deep breathing so that you can learn how to breathe. And when I say learn how to breathe, it's not this. It's totally different from that. It's totally void from diaphragm exercising, because that's what lung breathing is. You don't have to do that with a thought. Breathing I'm talking about is existing. We always want to go here and we have too much noise instead of following this, going, shut that noise up. I'm good. No matter what. The calming. People sit there waiting for DMT to kick off, birth, and they say in death? No, man, you can bring that to fruition all the time. Just got to learn how to do it, to learn how to breathe, to see beyond what you see. Anyway, these books are going to get read together. This is going to be a journey. Now, you do recant in here where he stated about North America, about all these places being destroyed, and that's 18. So that is around the right time. Let me before I get off of here, let me make sure. All right. And now I did go to the back. Inclusive to the Treaty of Washington, August 9th, 1842. Now, in the back here, it's got all the places. I don't like looking at that. I just like to read. If I was doing some heavy research and writing certain things, I would go to the back and look for key things. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to read it. We're going to read it together. I've actually read a little ahead, and that's why I really, really enjoy this book. And this is volume 1. Now, remember that. The Tyrian era. This is all ancient America. And it's going to get deep. Now, I know there's people, you know how I feel about the word God. It's not that I just believe that we're at a time. So, yeah, this is roughly, this individual that's dressed in a toga was pre all of that. But his printings were reprinted in 1843. All this writing is transliteration. But is done by Masons who knew what they were going to be doing. So you got to be mindful and pay attention to what I'm reading, because even in this, just so that they're continued word phenomenon, I call it, because it's a bunch of poppycock and horse manure. There's plenty of information because they can't tell ancient American story without being very clear. They allude to a ploy of planting without admitting it, though there's enough historical documents and records and books, hundreds, that point to that this was done when the rewrite, to make sure that they include in a very nice or neatly manner or fashion truth with little twists and spins here and there. All right, we'll put it like that. Now you can say however you want to say it, but that's how I'm gonna say. Truth with little spins, and and it is what it is. But it's a good read, and I haven't read that far into it, so just by reading what I've read a little bit and looking up online, I like what I'm reading. And I love how the fact, and I've had this discussion with Mexican brothers before, and I call them Mexican. I says, that's not a real name. I said, I don't know what Hollywood and everything else has just played it out of pocket. And they run with it because that's what they've been. It's like some of these Negroes now running around calling themselves African Americans because of what these worthless ass teachers. I can't wait until we round them up. But these worthless ass teachers and professors have said, and we get them to tell the truth. And the curriculums, the people who are writing the curriculums, who are on the heads of the boards of education, are those above them who tell them this is what they need to do to program the youth. They're going to be held accountable. But I'm not saying there's a threat. The reality is, they don't have to believe me. I don't care. They can believe in the fake Jesus and everything else. I don't care. Go right ahead. Because those are the worst ones. All right? Who doing this vile stuff. Want people to run around, men run around like women and all this other confusion and stuff. Like, we can run off with this. But we still haven't made things right with the Aboriginals here. We've given identity to a whole lot of false individuals, and then we've usurped the relationship and spread and divided. That's not going to last much longer, and ain't nothing they can do to stop it, regardless of who may drop dead when they start letting go of that 18 hertz. It don't matter. Repeat it twice or three times, however they're going to be doing. When they 5G is not locked on right now. It's not 5G anyway. It's a repeater. It's 5. It's as far as the radiation. It's strong. The put out, the output by these things that are all over the place, and these repeaters to be able to get the signal to push them strong in a cyclic. And these things are going to open up, and that's in them, that's dormant, and it's going to take that people are going to be dropping. A lot of y'all see it right now. You see all the people who are having heart attacks, and everybody's talking about it. The platforms want to be silent, and majority of people come from families with no heart conditions. They're healthy, they exercise, and they're dropping dead. Teaspoon of cinnamon, good for you. Keeps your blood pressure and your spike. This is good for you. All right. So I'm going right out here, slap these Timberlands on my damn big ass bunion. Somebody said, "You got gout?" Well, y'all just eye doctors. Y'all's guesstimation doctors. No, I love them. But anyway, I'm going to set it down. I appreciate y'all allowing me to read that, to take up your time. Let's go ahead and shut some of you up. I know a lot of people don't come over here because I ain't yelling and screaming and hollering and a whole lot of other nonsense and worthless stuff that's unuseful and talking about let's go fight and nobody can fight and everybody is pushing all that stuff. Half of everybody's a felon. They don't even know the fact that they can go and still own a firearm. It's just... So the more people come over here, the more people will learn. And if they choose not to and they're stuck with all that rage and anger, let them be. That's a horn. Don't worry, that's not the horn of horns. But I'm gonna give y'all a shout out and I'm gonna get out of here, all right? I gotta turn this phone around because I'm always looking over here instead of looking at my 6-shooter. Let's see here. Ronald, what's going on, beloved? Hey, Mikey Hill. Peace, brother. Hey, guy with the hat and suit. Change that thing. I know you gotta have it there because that's the sun. I know. What's up, Susu? Lord, what's cracking, family? I know that's right. Hey, B-Tree, what's going on? Ancient architecture. You folks want to learn to pronounce it. State of rest, sleep, or tranquil. Okay, there you go. All right, that's what's up. Yo, Jamel Shamsi, what's cracking, family? Yo, don't worry, your book's gonna get read, and that's gonna be one day every week that I sit down and for an hour, 2 hours read your book. I already expressed that. So his book is good. And I gotta do it where I don't want to take pictures out of his book, but I'm gonna have to be able to do it where y'all can see all the pictures and all the information he shared, family genealogy, the whole thing. Francois Bonnier, 1625-1688, is believed to have developed the first comprehensive classification of humans into distinct races yet. Well, yeah, 1600s. That was what it was. Yes, thank you, hon. Journal, right. That's why I had to express that, but I appreciate that because I couldn't remember it for nothing. I should have run over there and touched to see if somebody looked it up. Thank you, I appreciate that. The division of Earth by the different species or races. Yes, and that was all done with the purpose of what we're dealing with now. All another picks up the sword. That's us. When is an outgrowth of the international Bible students? Yeah, and it's not. Yeah. Why 18? Really, the 1900s, honestly. Same thing with Mormonism. But they say around the 1800s, which is a pure lie. Don't you study them? I've read every religion, every book, all the different. I read the Book of Satan, everything. Lucifer Chronicles, everything I've read. Listen to me. It's everything they made is fabricated and a lie. But yes, it is not when he states it as far as the reading, which is even, 30-something years after he's making the claim, Masonic. That's why I say Masonics are idiots. Hey, Nichelle Marquise, what's happening? Much love, sis. But do you see what I'm saying? See what you just pulled up, right? I didn't feel like opening my tablet. Anyway, you see what year he was saying, right? As far as that is based upon what? Our Lord, blah, 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 1600s. And this is printed 1840 something, 15, 1600s. 14 really talking about, actually pre-Columbus, Genoese, going back. How long is that? Can you look that up right quick? Going back to Genoese. That's 100, 200 years before Columbus? And like I said, when it's stated about, he knew where he was coming. Can't make it up. So no matter what I read, other books that will say something different. All right. And the fact is, and no one's hearing my nose. So anyway, the fact is they all say something different. You know, I know I started to read this, but we're gonna have to get to the gold disc of Kusa. That was a strong, powerful brother right there. Anyway, and the Gods of Eden, I'm gonna read with those because it goes right along. It actually goes along with RMH what you call it, with his books as far as the DNA gods and everything like that with Chris H. Hardy. Well, anyway, Gods of Eden actually goes with those, but I'm gonna read it in those because I've skimmed through them all, and it's gonna bring a little light as far as Tartaria. And that's why I say I may read Nos Confoundum one more time with those. So it's actually 5 books, and one's very small, so we'll get through that in no time. 2 of them actually. But Nos Confoundum really, as far as literary, it helps to bring light on a lot of subjects, as well as the Book of Tartaria, all volumes, every one of them, and the sketches of antiquity of North America. And the things that we're reading in our brothers Howdy Mikowski, the great Exposing the Expositions. Where's that book at? 1815 and 1815 or 1850 to whatever. Anyway, Exposing the Expositions, which he did on the revision, the 2001, the 2020, the 221 compared to the 2019, when most of that was half-ass and a lot of pictures. Here, in that one and those, it all kind of brings everything together. And then you're always going to hear, it doesn't matter who it is, the Masonic motherfuckers are liars. Except those who are broken from a party who are alive. And if they're easily offended, that means they're nothing more than just cannon fodder. There's somebody allowed to exist, to do the things they do and think there's something great. Genoese knew of the Americas more than 150 years before their most famous son arrived in the New World, according to research of the University of Milan and Malta. Look at Malta and Milan and Malta. Yes, 150, 200 years, give or take. Remember, we're living on a 7-8 year difference. This is not 2023. It doesn't matter. It isn't. And the seasons are actually resetting. And that's why we're dealing with a lot of this, regardless of all the little snowing over in San Bernardino and all the other stuff. They can manipulate that. Things can. The problem is they can't stop what's coming because they won't stop what they're doing. And they completely believe that that's still influenced by them. Right? And if you have a twin and nobody knows about it, if your twin running out there with you and on 2 blocks over, and he's doing bad things while you're doing good things, what's the report going to talk about? The bad things being done? But nobody knows there's a twin. So who's going to get in trouble? I guarantee the ones doing bad knows how to get around. The one that's doing good, la, 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 keys in the pocket, not jumping out of windows, going through the front door, is going to get be one stashed up. And unless he conveys that it's his twin, the true story happened in real life. Where the one twin went to jail and then they realized they had the wrong one. They never knew nothing about the other twin. I'm just saying it's different today, but back then in the 60s and 70s and 50s. So you get what I'm saying? Just because they're wearing a mask and they're hiding amongst us, doing the perverse things they're doing while in and out, and they're watching us. And we got the keys and we're la 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 going about life and they're hurting and harming people and the circles out. There's an opposite and equal or more powerful. So with that, I'm gonna sign off. I appreciate that. Thank you. So I appreciate that. Y'all see that? So I haven't fully lost it up here. I haven't fully lost it up here. Anyway, I appreciate that. Anyway, wow, they about to try to log me off, didn't they? Let me run out here, do what I gotta do, come back, sit up, and we can get back into reading Abraham Appianus 1. I was going to do it now, but I need to go out there and check everything. Off the Kessler, the 13th tribe, Behold the Pale Horse, DNA of the Gods. Where's the other damn book at? I know I was looking at it last night. Oh, shit. I'm stupid. The Book of Johns. No. It's under it. Exposing the Expositions, 1851-1950, revised 2021 from 2019 of Howdy Mikowski. Why did I have it just laying like that? I'm putting the pillow. I'm retarded. Book of Giants, because I was reading with the gods of Eden. I'm doing that, y'all. That's what I do. So let me be. And then the Heaven Bearers. Back into the, I know y'all like, and there he go. He gonna sing that song. I know y'all about waiting. Like, when does he want to sing that? Anticipation. He's making us wait. I know y'all be sitting there going, he's going to sing it soon. It's getting good. Anyway, so I appreciate it. Is that the ad book? Is that the book that I was by the Genoese, based on Genoa and everything like that? Sue, I want to tap on it, but no, I'll go ahead and check it out later on. All right. So let me get out of here. You know I love y'all. Number peace, my beautiful sisters, and blessings to my brothers. All right.